Hey guys, Prowl 1701 here, and today we're going to be talking about Doctor Who The Collection, and we're going to be talking about the legendary Season 13. Oh, how many of us Classic Who fans are waiting for this collection box set? We want it. They have to know we want it. This is the one that I am like, ooh. I want to know what the cover is going to look like, the front cover, the back cover, the booklet, everything. I want to know all the behind-the-scenes stuff going on with it. This is the one I want. This is my number one that I want in the collection range. So I'm going to talk about today some of the behind-the-stuff material I would like to see, and then I will outline kind of what I would like on the front art. We're going to talk with the VAM material first. Either everything this season has a making of, or else Pyramids needs one. I was looking on the DVD for Pyramids, and it mentions it having a documentary, but Pyramids was released early in the range, so maybe they just didn't call it a making of yet. So I can't remember if Pyramids has a making of or not. If it doesn't, then it needs one, and if it does, then everything this season already has a making of, and that's covered. The omnibuses. I want the omnibuses. We have an omnibus for Pyramids of Mars. I want that. The omnibus for Pyramids of Mars is one of the most watched episodes of Doctor Who of all time. Over 13 million views. That is incredible when you realize it was a story that had been broadcast before. Matter of fact, the original broadcasting of the story never had an individual episode that reached that high. I think that is a testament to just how good Pyramids of Mars is. that many people wanted to rewatch it when it was aired back then. Because I can't remember exactly, it was over 13 million that omnibus drew in, and that is just uncanny for something that it wasn't its first showing to draw in those kind of numbers. One of the most watched pieces of Doctor Who ever. I'm looking forward to seeing that. I've never watched the omnibus of Pyramids of Mars, obviously, but I love the story. It's one of my favorite Doctor Who stories. So I definitely want that included. I want the omnibus for Brain of Morbius as well. I would like to check that out and find out what I think of it. And I have learned I did do an omnibus for it, so I would like to see that. And then I actually, I really would like to get them to actually make the planned omnibus for Seeds of Doom that never actually got released. They actually have Douglas Camfield, who is one of Doctor Who's best directors ever. He actually did direct the Seeds of Doom. I actually believe that was his final Doctor Who story that he directed. But he is definitely one of Doctor Who's best directors ever. And they do still have his script notes, his outlines for how he would have done the Seeds of Doom omnibus that was planned and then canceled. So I actually would like them to go through with it and actually make that, and actually put out, for the first time ever, the Seeds of Doom omnibus. I would like to watch that. I would like to see that. That would be a nice little nod to Douglas as well. I think that would be a cool thing to do. I would like an Ian Marter tribute, much like how we had an Elizabeth Sladen tribute for season 14. I would definitely like to get an Ian Marter tribute done for him. Location. I tend to love location videos, so I would love a video about the location work that was done in this season. That would be a lot of fun for me. Tom Talks. We know they have already said that they have future-proofed all the future Tom sets, and that they have done interviews with him. So we should get a Tom Talks. I won't say behind the scenes, because Tom just kind of talks about whatever Tom wants to talk about, and I love it. I'm always there for it. So we should get another Tom Talks for season 13. I'm very much looking forward to that. And then for Behind the Sofa, I really hope they get Sadie Miller like they did for season 12, who of course is Elizabeth Sladen's daughter. And actually Sadie voices Sarah Jane in some of the Big Finish audios now. So I hope they get Sadie for Behind the Sofa. I hope they get Philip Hinchcliffe, since this is one of Philip's seasons. I hope they get Philip Hinchcliffe. And I hope they get John Levine as well, since John does play Benton in a couple episodes of this story. And of course, Zygons and Android Invasion. So I would love to get John Levine back for another Behind the Sofa. That would be really fun as well. I tend to love Behind the Sofas. So it'd be nice to have them together. A season overview. I've talked before in other videos like this. I love season overviews, so I would love to get a season overview just talking about season 13 and all of the gothic horror inspirations for it. I think that would be a really, really fun video to watch. And then updated effects. I don't think any story this season is just in desperate need of updated effects. None of them. They all work very effectively. Season 13 is objectively probably the best season of Doctor Who ever made. There's no bad stories in it. There's no even just good stories in it. Every single story, all 6 of them, are great. Like, really good. Even the Android Invasion, which I might call the weakest of the season, is really good. Same thing with Brain of Morbius. I might not love it as much as I used to, but it's really good. And then you have just flat-out bangers like The Seeds of Doom, Planet of Evil, Terror of the Zygons, and Pyramids of Mars, which are, you know, just in the upper tiers of Doctor Who. So none of them necessarily need special effects. There are some things you could do with it. Terror of the Zygons, there are definitely some stuff you could do there, like the Zygon shape-shifting, some of the ship stuff you could update. Pyramids of Mars has 1 or 2 things, but doesn't really need it. I wouldn't even bother. Android Invasion doesn't really need anything. Brains of Morbius doesn't really need anything. Really, the Seeds of Doom, all you need to do with it is the adult Crinoid could use some updated effects. So basically, like episodes 4, 5, and 6. The Crinoid, once it's out of humanoid form, could use some updated effects. That I would be in favor of. That's really all it needs. So I probably wouldn't even bother since that's all it needs. But if they did update the effects for the adult Crinoid, I'd be cool with that. For me, though, if they just came to me and were like, Prowl, which one do you think should get it? First, I would definitely commend them on their excellent decision-making in coming to me. It just shows good forethought on their part. But I would probably say Planet of Evil, because while I think the effects for Planet of Evil are fine, they look good. I like them. There are some things you could do there with it, like when people get killed by the creatures, having them fade out could be done a little different. Having them reappear could be done definitely different. Some of the model work for the spaceships, you could add some nice CG effects for. Some of the laser blast, you could update the effects for. You could change the way the eyes change when the guy's about to turn into his Mr. Hyde form. I mean, the original effect for that looks fine. I like it. And then the effect of him turning into the wolf thing. There are definitely some effect tweaks you could do there. I mean, if I was to upgrade any of them, it would be Planet of Evil, but none of them just desperately need it. So if this season doesn't get any updated effects, I'll be like, yeah, okay, that's fine. No big deal for me. But if anything did, and it was Planet of Evil, I'd be like, they've seen my YouTube videos. And then I would absolutely love to see a Bob Holmes tribute. I believe one of the DVDs already did a Bob Holmes tribute, though. I forget, but I believe so. But I don't care. I would just love to get one of these. They really do these in-depth previews now. Or previews? Reviews? Videos. Tributes. There we go. I would love to see something like they did for Terrence Dicks, but with Bob Holmes. I mean, it would be much harder. Bob's been gone so long. He passed away in '86. But I would love to see a really in-depth video as a tribute to Robert Holmes, because I do think he's the best writer the show ever had. He was such an amazing script editor, and he contributed so many amazing things to Doctor Who that I would love to see a video on the Blu-ray collection range about him, and season 13 would be the perfect spot for it. As for the front art, it's really hard for me. I'd love to have Tom Baker in his Pyramids of Mars outfit with kind of a serious look on. It's a serious story. It's a serious season. I don't quite know what I'd have him holding in his hand. I haven't quite made up my mind. Maybe the little radio thing he's using, like when he tells Scarman's brother, when he's admiring the big thing there, he's like, oh, I've got kind of what you got. This is just a smaller version of it. Whatever that is, he could be holding that in his hand. Colors need to be something fitting the gothic horror of the season. Reds, oranges, golds, browns, something like that. Something attention-getting. Something, again, that really fits with the gothic horror vibe. I don't really know what I'd want for the background. There's several things you could pick from. You could have, instead of having the late part of the time tunnel that season 12 has, you could have the early part of the time tunnel from the intro when it's more round. Same thing they use for the closing credits would be perfect behind Tom for season 13. You could also have the sarcophagus portal from Pyramids of Mars, the little multicolored, rainbow colored stuff going on in the background. You could have that happening. I really don't want Tom in his Scottish, or his, that little Scottish outfit he wears at the beginning of Terror of the Zygons. I don't really want that for the cover, because he doesn't wear it long. He only wears it a little in that episode. That's perfect for the discard. That needs to be on the Terror of the Zygon discard, him in that costume, like it is on the DVD cover. But I don't want him wearing that on the actual front art. I want him in his Pyramids of Mars outfit. As for villains, I'd say you have a Zygon for the front cover. You have a Zygon on there. You have, for Planet of Evil, you have the Doctor who's turning into Hyde when he's kind of in his Hyde mode when he's... Yeah, I'd have that on there. I would have Sutek. You gotta have Sutek from this profile. That's when you normally see him. You gotta have Sutek with the eyes lighting up. Gotta have that. I think for the Android Invasion, you have the little robots that shoot from their fingers. You know, that finger might be loaded. And you have more than one, because I think there's like 3 of them standing there. So kind of maybe at the bottom of the enemies, you have 3 of them there pointing. I like that. There's just something creepy about that. Ambassadors of Death pulls that off really well with the astronauts doing that. That's just a cool visual. So I think you have that, although you could also have the actual aliens from it, even though they don't really impress me much. Of course, you need Morbius, and you got to have the claw. You got to have the claw. If you got Morbius, you got to have the claw. So I definitely think you have Morbius on there with his claw up, like facing this way. And then the top image needs to be the humanoid Krynoid, the first Krynoid, the Krynoid from the first 2 episodes when it's still kind of vaguely human. There's that very famous photo of it when it's kind of like this. You need to use that photo and have it up there basically where like Kronos is on season 9 is the topmost enemy, where it's facing forward, and have him doing his, yeah, that would be perfect for season 13. And that's kind of how I would do the front art cover. So I want to know what you think and what you would do for the season 13 front art cover, and what kind of behind the scenes material you would like for the season. So comment down below and let me know, and we will talk about it. Don't forget to click the like button and the subscribe button as well. I also have a Patreon if you would like to support me on there and get early access to all of my videos, or most of my videos, behind the scenes stuff, vote in polls for stuff I watch and review, all sorts of goodies there. Check that out in the description below. There's a link to that. I want to give a shout out to some of my top tier patrons, Colin Coney, Stephen Crane, and Finn Perkins. I appreciate their support, as I do the support of all of my patrons. It's very much appreciated. I also have a P.O. box. If there's anything you'd like to send me to look at and review, a link to my Amazon wish list is down there. A link to my Amazon UK wish list is down there as well. Most importantly, thank you for watching. Ooh. Oh, I can't read my handwriting today. My eyes are being lazy today.